So Killer Shack is a very strong tile that spawns on pretty much every single map in the game, and as Killer, it's just so much fun chasing that very strong tile in pretty much every game you play since it's on every single map except for those indoor maps. And it's very strong, but it's not overpowered, just strong enough to be very annoying to chase as Killer multiple times a match on pretty much every game you play. Now there's small differences on the Killer Shacks. Some of the Killer Shacks have a window like right here, like the Garden of Joy one. There's the Eyrie of Crow ones where you get an extra hole in the wall up here so you can see more, but nothing quite as drastically different as the Saloon's Killer Shack, where it has a breakable door here. Now, why does it have a breakable door here in Killer Shack? It's not because it's too strong of a tile, because it wouldn't be on every single map without this breakable door if it was too strong. So why on Saloon? It's because it's always facing the same direction, which means you always have this very strong window directly next to whichever tile spawns right in front of it. And that's why you have that breakable door, because if the breakable door wasn't there, without even looping this tile by itself, you could get a few laps going around this thing. If the killer was just chasing you all the way around, you could get like 1 or 2 laps maybe, right? Say the killer is back there, turns the corner, we're coming around here, we're coming right here. You can see through this, be careful because they can drop down on both sides, on that one and that one, and you're coming around this way. And same thing, you get 1 or 2 laps, it's a huge tile, and then when the killer finally catches up enough, that's when you can jump the window. But if the door isn't breakable there, that just makes this way too strong. That side has the pallet, and this side is even safer than normal, so you can loop around it again. Even loop around the back side of it before you're even forced to even play this window, which you wouldn't do, because once you get pushed around this way instead, if you ran around the backside, then you could just run around this way, and come around this thing again. And this is before you even start to loop this tile by itself. You could come around this whole thing, it chases you all the way around this way, and now you can, once again, wait for him to come around, and then cut right back into the window again, and profit off of the distance of the safe window that you gain from the killer just by vaulting that safe window. So the killer has to have a breakable door here just to sort of even up the playing field when it comes to Shack being connected to immediately something in front of it. Now, this is when it gets a little bit interesting, because no matter which way the killer pushes you after you jump to this window, when you came from whichever tile spawns over here, when you jump this window, it's not as safe, so now you won't just be able to run all the way around, because the size difference between these two might not be enough, especially against a lot of killers that are not M1 killers, so you to run all the way around this and get back to that window again. This is just too long of a distance when you're talking about the difference that you would gain from jumping this and then pushing you on one side or the other. That's when you try to loop this thing here. And a tile like this one is very strong because not only does it have a window here, and this is safer than it looks because they have to go all the way around here to get to you. And you can see which way they go when you jump it, and this one's even farther. This one is a much safer way if they go all the way around this way, plus you have the pallet here. The pallet might not always be there though, to be completely fair, but once you get up to this thing, if they're directly in front of it, if they don't vault it, if you go and they push you around that way, you can see if they double back around the stairs, which means you can come around this way, and you might even have enough distance to loop all the way back around and get back to that window. But even if you didn't have the distance to make it all the way back around and make it to that window, and say you got it here, you can come here, read this pallet. If they go around it, then you can come back to this way, and then you can come back to this way and jump this window again, maybe even if they're up here. And if they're not up here and they kind of lost you, you can either hang out or you can see down there, or if you really want to feel fancy and you saw them all the way over there, you could jump down again and jump the window. But that's the problem, is now they have to think about not only looping this, but every time they loop that you loop the tile that's next to this, every single time that you make it to this side, you're going to immediately have a safe window to jump through and immediately profit distance-wise, which means they're going to have to push you around another way. And let's say you ignored it this time, right? Let's say you went around this way and you just ignored that one. They were just pushing up this way. You could come around this way, come around this way. You could greet the pallet, maybe even greeting the pallet. The killer going around the pallet or respecting enough might even be enough distance to make it back to the window as well. All right, you go that way. Is there a pallet back here? You make it over to this way. Now this one can be the best one that you can get. Now the thing is, the pallet can either spawn out here between the wagon and the rubble, or the pallet can spawn over here. And that's when I think this is the best one to be able to connect to that one right here. Because when the pallet spawns right here, 2 things can happen. When you're running around this thing, you can either greet it and the killer can go on the outside and you can just continue on right and go down that way. Or it's one of the ones that you can actually pre-drop, or if it hasn't been broken yet, which the killer can leave it up because they think they can just run right around this way. Which, teeny little fact about this specific house, you can run over here and you can make this jump to this way. So if you're looping this pallet that spawns right here, you can totally just run it around like this. The thing is, you cannot make the jump back this way. You can only make the jump over this way. And because of that, the killer might think about that, or the killer might not know that in general, and they push all the way around, which gives you more opportunity to make it back to that. And that's not even incorporating running up here, which then you can connect to that pallet over there, which then make it to that window as well. But this one is different than the other one, which I think is the worst house that you can get, because that one's the smallest and has a disconnected pallet, and if you jump that one, you can't get the fast vault. We'll get to that one in a second, but this one you can actually get the running vault. So you can wait for the killer to run up here, and you could jump this. If the killer doubles back and goes around that way, they cannot cut through there, so it's safer than it actually looks because of those little barrels right there. They have to go all the way around that instead, which gives you ample time to come over here and cut either back to the window as well, or as I said before, if you have the pallet here, to either jump the pallet or do that. And then you can even just jump these two. If you have the pallet down here and you can run around this and then jump this one again, the killer chases you around, you can jump this one again as well, run around the back, the killer comes around, you come around this way, you can either greed the pallet or jump the pallet and run around and do the same thing, and that's without even incorporating it to this. When you incorporate it into this one, this can be the strongest. Like I said, it's pretty strong even when you get the pallet over there instead of getting the pallet right here. When you get the pallet right here, I do think this is the strongest one to try to connect back and forth between that, because you, like I said, you can use the pallet to the window back and forth, and using it to that one if you weren't going to make that where you didn't even feel like mind gaming, you can just go the pallet back and forth between that. Where you jump the window, whichever way the killer pushes you around, you also profit on, because let's say the killer pushes you around this way or the door is open. Either way, if the killer pushes you around this way, you immediately have this pallet to be able to profit on and jump around, or you can immediately run up to that staircase and jump that one as well. Or if they push you the other way, same thing. If you vault this and the killer pushes you around this way without doing any mind games, and you just run straight this way, then you follow around the backs, then here you are again at this pallet, able to play it. Obviously, if it's there, it's a little bit different, but once again, you can loop around this whole thing and then cut to the window anyway, and that's without even using this upstairs here, which you can get the running vault on. So if you get the pallet right there, I do think that this is the best variation that you can get of the building next to Shack, and that's specifically why they need this to be broken up, because if this wasn't openable, then that would just make this so much worse, because every time you would jump that, you would profit all of that distance. Not with this, because then you'd only profit to here, and then you'd only be the length between this to the other side over there. With that, it's from the length to here, so you could run around this multiple times, then cut to that thing over there, then cut back to the window, and then cut over to this to loop once or twice up to that, and then back to the window again. So this is why they need this, so that with Bloodlust, they'll at least stand a chance to be able to get you in the first place. Because if it wasn't for that breakable door there, this would be an extremely overpowered setup that is guaranteed to spawn. That was so close. Yeah, sprint burst, lol. Here we go. Yes! Alright, it's black now. Which way does he come from? Here we go! Haha! Oh yeah! He double backed. Let's go. I'm also rancored. Is this open now? This would be sweet. Where am I going? Oh no.
Two very boring minutes later.
I just realized I'm going to be permanently exposed. Aha! Here we go! This one's probably the most difficult to try to chain back and forth, just because this is the one where you can't actually get a running vault, because the one where the stairs go up the right side and go over to the left, you can get the running vault immediately, whereas this one, it's not possible to get this running vault. So you have to play this game where you're waiting up a little bit here to then run and try to vault it just when you can. Now, the cool thing about this one is when you vault it down here, you have this pallet here, and if they double back, you immediately have this thing to loop around, which once again, you can cut right back towards the window if you leave at the proper time, which is taking a chance winning a 50-50, but same thing. So when you vault that, and you have this immediate pallet to land, then you can immediately loop this, so you can go around this way. If they try to mind game themselves, you can go back up this way and then jump it again if you want to. Now, one thing to be aware of with this one is if you hug too far to the right, you can get stuck. Just like that. And that does happen to killers as well. So it's hard for killers to come around and like swing right at you. So there's definitely times where if you're waiting for this and then you watch it and then you see them come up, that they might get caught trying to swing. You can't count on that, but it definitely does happen. I don't think I do now. Look up the stairs. Yes! Vault it. Let's go. Yes! It worked! But this is another one too, where if you're running around, if you're just running around this whole thing by itself to cut into that, before you cut into the window, you could probably greed this pallet too. You're standing here and the killer goes around, you might be able to make it all the way around, especially if the killer mind games himself. But I do think that this is the worst building to get connected towards the killer shack. Oh God. I'm not gonna make this. Yes! Damn it. I'll make this. Yay! And then back around to it. Damn it. Oh, good shit. Damn it. Oh, shit. I didn't see him yet. I should have been more patient. Damn it. Chassé. Chassé. Gonna make this. It's gonna be close. Yes, we can. And we will. Now I want to try to rectify this one. Yes! Back to this one. Oh, God. What's going on here? Like picture and picture and picture and picture and picture and picture. As you walk around. No, this one's harder. Big Sag. It's not gonna stop me from trying. I want to try it again. I can just loop right towards the shack. Alright, I said you want to loop the house next to shack. This is what I mean. And then... Damn it! You're supposed to double back, Wesker. Damn it!